Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about staple cards you should consider picking up from Set 19 Fighter's Ambition, which comes out this weekend. This type of video is much more important to this set than it may have been to sets in the past, because if you guys have followed the archetype breakdowns, I don't think the archetypes in the set are very good, but there are a lot of good generic cards in this set, and that's the main appeal to this set, which I actually kind of like because, you know, we've gotten a lot of archetypes thrown at us in the past several sets, and the game has been rather archetype based. But I really do like the fact that there are a lot more generic good cards coming out that allow for more creative deck building, because when archetypes aren't exactly spelled out for you and you're able to, you know, just kind of put good cards into a deck and build it that way, it's definitely a lot more fun and creative from the deck building side of things. So I definitely do appreciate that. But anyways, we'll get into that in today's video. If you guys are new here though, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And if you guys want to support the channel, there are tons of ways to do so down in the description. But today, guys, if you want to buy or pre-order any of the cards we talk about in today's video, or any trading cards for that matter, it does really help me out if you were to use my link in the description to TCG Player. I really do appreciate it. Anyways, let's jump right on in, and we are starting with the Gohan Rares. Now, these cards are just very good in their respective colors. Some, of course, are better than others. Like my personal opinion, I think the red and the yellow ones are the weakest ones, but they're still decent in some cases. But yeah, like the black one, the blue one, power reclaimed, even the green one, if green ever gets a good leader, is are really good cards because they offer great utility. So for the most part, when they're comboed, they allow you to snipe a battle card off the board when they're put to your Z energy, and that's really good in, let's just say, the SS4 Gogeta matchup, because they often play their battle cards during battle, so you can directly counter that with your color's respective Gohan Rare, depending on the situation. Again, like the green one, that one takes off unison markers, I believe, and the yellow one, the card has to be in rest mode, so it's not always going to be a perfect answer. But in the case of power claim and hostile standing counter, those work perfectly for that regard. But then they have their good, just like you know, general effects. So hostile standing counter can be used as a negate, whether it's in your drop or warp, which is really great for black decks. And then you have Gohan Power Reclaim, which we played for 3 during either player's turn, and kill any battle card short of barrier when it's played. And then it's got the triple attack threatening aspect to it, right? So yeah, the Gohan Rares are just very good. I recommend picking up the playset for whatever color you guys generally play, and if that's all the colors in all the decks, then you might pick up a lot of cards. But yeah, these cards are very good and worth picking up. All right, then we have a duo here. So we have Goku and Vegeta Immortal Rivalry. These cards pair nicely together. I'll explain how. So activate battle on the Immortal Rivalry. Activate battle, limit 1 for a blue. If your leader's blue, this card's in your Z energy, and you discard 1 card from your hand. That is part of the cost. So that's already really good in blue decks, because you play a lot of extra cards like D-Magic, Senzu Bean, stuff that doesn't necessarily allow you to be aggressive with your opponent, and you can pitch that card to get more aggressive with your opponent. So use up to 2 mono blue cards with 5,000 combo from your drop in a combo. Their skills negated for the turn. Additionally, if there are 3 or more cards in your combo area, play this card from your Z energy. So notice too, that can also be used defensively. I know I was talking about how to use this card aggressively, but you can use that defensively. Why does that pair nicely with a heroic team? Because the activate battle here for a blue or a yellow, if your leader is blue or yellow and 3 or more blue or yellow cards in your combo area, play this card from your hand. So you typically don't want to just like hard combo 3 cards from your hand in order to play heroic team, but Immortal Rivalry sets you up for that really nicely by just getting those combos you know, done for you by an effect. Now with Immortal Rivalry, you always want to combo 1 card first before you use its activate battle, because remember, this thing requires 3 cards in your combo to play itself. So you want to combo a card first, then use the activate battle, which will combo you 2 more, and that'll meet the condition to play both Immortal Rivalry and Heroic Team. And that's really good in the blue deck, because 2 energy in blue is not all that much because of how much untap you can get, and it's a really cool way to be a bit more of an aggressive blue deck. Like, you can build some really cool generic stuff with this combination here. I like it quite a bit. All right, then we have Piccolo the Infiltrator and Pan Glimpse of Talent. There are so many good generic blue cards in this set, guys. So yeah, Piccolo is just insane. It's literally just a 2-drop. Like, I don't even know why they printed 3-drop on the card. It's pretty much just a 2-drop. And it's even better than a 2-drop cantrip, because 1, you get to attack with it twice for 20k, and 2, you play Pan out of the deck, which draws you a card. So not only are you drawing that card, but you also have the 5k combo value from Pan. So like I said, this thing is just better than a cantrip. The barrier is also relevant depending on like certain counterplays you're trying to play around, or like certain ways your opponent can possibly kill this thing during battle. And I love the fact too that it has the activate main to just play the pan on turn 1 if you want to, because so many decks can't really like dedicate space to playing 1-drops because they're not so great the later the game goes. But Piccolo is amazing because it's that mid-game threat you want and the turn 1 play if you happen to draw multiples and want to use a turn 1. Like, this is just such a good blue combo. Like, between these cards and the cards I talked about just a slide ago, you could build like half of a blue deck just based on this stuff, and it can actually be pretty aggressive too, and that's not typically a thing we see with blue. But yeah, these cards are just really, really strong. Then we have Gohan Power Unshackled. So again, another generic blue card. So if you really wanted to, you could just pay 4 for this in a control deck like Blue Baby, and that might sound troll, but it's actually not that bad because the floodgate effect that Gohan provides is actually hard for a lot of decks to get to. Like I was saying before, not a lot of decks dedicate space to 1-drops nowadays because we cheat in such high cost battle cards in this game, and again, like, you don't really want to see a bunch of 1-drops going into the late game because they don't really scale that well. So this can actually be very difficult for some decks to get around, but besides paying 4 for this, you can play this in other decks besides Gohan and Gotenks, which came out in this set. You could play this in Gamma, of course. You can combo it for 1, use another energy to use the Floodgate ability, and if you really wanted to, you could play it in Piccolo Superhero because there are 2 different Piccolo Superhero leads that I know a lot of people are playing. And yeah, if you splash blue into that deck, you can play this card, and we already know that Piccolo Superhero is slightly incentivized to play blue-yellow, so this is actually a nice fit in that deck as like a sideboard option or maybe even a main board. Floodgate seems really, really good, and yeah, just a really solid blue card for a lot of different cases. Then we have Decisive Strike, so another, you know, blue counterplay to add to your arsenal. Blue is kind of weird when it comes to answering floodgates. Like, you have good options, don't get me wrong. You have Godsling Technique Trunks, but that's tied to having Unison in play. You have Absolute Release Ball, but that's tied to being at 4 or less life. And then you have Decisive Strike, which is tied to having a Z battle card in play. Now, all those have different restrictions, but, you know, the nice thing about having a new option is you can kind of tailor it to what your deck is better at. Maybe your deck is not really good at taking life early, but you spam Z battle cards, so you might play Decisive Strike. Maybe your deck relies on the Unison, so you might just play God Sealing. But it is just nice to have another option in the counterplay arsenal for blue that allows you to answer floodgates, because while this format is not as floodgate heavy as last format was, there's still a thing in the format and you still want to be able to deal with them. So Decisive Strike will be very nice for those decks that maybe don't have the best control over their life, maybe don't play a ton of Unisons, but still need some sort of answer to counterplays. Then we have Beerus Annihilator, an insane Z battle card, man. Like, last set, it was easily red that had the best like total Z deck pool, but man, blue is creeping up now. This card's insane. So this card has potential to remove 4 battle cards in just the turn that it's played, because it can swing 3 times thanks to the activate main restanding and giving a dual attack. The auto is not once per turn, so if your opponent has 3 battle cards in play that are, you know, overcosted, you can bounce all of them to the bottom of the deck, and then the activate main itself gives you a bit of barrier removal. Not only that, this thing gains 5k attack every single time it swings, so you're swinging for 15, 20, then 25. I mean, this card is just so much value for 2 to 4 energy, typically for 4 because you want to get the full effect off, and that's not really too much to ask in blue because you have leaders that untap energy, you have leaders that ramp energy, so yeah, this card is just absolutely insane. The only downside is it's one of the very few Z battle cards that does not have deflect, but having barrier kind of gives it its own upsides. Like, yes, this can be counterplayed in some cases, but having barrier means that if you don't want to attack with it the full 3 times, you could swing with it, let's say, twice, and then leave it in active mode, and then it's going to be difficult for your opponent to answer if they don't have barrier removal at the ready. So yeah, this card is just insane. A definite pickup for blue players. And then we have, finally not a blue card, we have Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks triple combination. This is, I think, probably the only solid generic red card coming out of this set. And this is a cool card for a deck like SS4 Gogeta, any red sand deck, of which there are a ton, because at the end of the day, it's a 1-drop 20k attacker, and it gives you removal. This is actually pretty nice for Gogeta as well, because Gogeta struggles in the removal department. Like, it's good at everything else, right? That deck draws a ton of cards, that deck is very aggressive, that deck has a great Z deck and makes Z energy for free, and now they went ahead and made a card that gives it really good removal too. So yeah, any red sand deck you're playing, this card is a super solid main or sideboard option, 100%. Then we have Jiren The Immovable. So again, green is like not amazing. I don't expect it to be even much better going into set 19, but this is a really good Z battle card. All green really needs is a leader or engine that generates Z energy just without going completely minus, because the two new decks, Broly actually generates Z energy pretty well, but like you're playing with an incredibly low hand, which is a big downside in a lot of matchups. And then you have Gogeta, which makes Z energy, but they want you to like evolve and like play stuff out of your Z energy, so you don't actually want to use that Z energy for costs like this. Besides that though, for a card like Jiren and even Piccolo Fated Rival, which is a similar type of card, you need multiple Z energy to get the most out of their effects, and there's just not really a green deck that makes that much Z energy. So it's tough to use this guy. You can play him in a deck like Gamma, which charges blue-green. That is a potential thing you can do. But yeah, in a pure green deck, this is a rather tough card to play. But I do think it's a really good pickup, because if and when, I mean, more so if green ever becomes like really viable, this is definitely gonna be a staple in the Z deck for sure. Then we have Black Mask Saiyan, Assassin from the Darkness. If you're playing black, which is probably going to be really good again in the upcoming future, because, you know, black just takes like one really good free play card or like one really good leader to just make it broken, right? So this card is insane defensively, gives your leader a Sensu Bean, and it's really good offensively, giving you a bit of removal. And again, it's very generic. It's cool that you can be like any black leader and play this, but to attack with it, you got to have a Z leader or a Z battle card in play. The Z deck for black is like not amazing right now. Of course, you can play Sir Mounting in any deck, but I don't know if you really want to spend energy on that just for this thing to attack. But it is a 1-drop 25k if you do that. But yeah, insane card when black becomes good again, which I'm sure it will. It's not really the same as green, where green just like for some reason can never be good. This card is going to be 100% a staple. And then we're wrapping up with Black Smoke. I mean, of course, you guys already know to pick this card up. This is going to be the new Dark Power Black Mask Saiyan, the new Machikabura. Just that side deck card that you bring in for a variety of different things. Unison removal, barrier removal, drawing 2 if you need to. Like, this card's absolutely snapped. I don't think I have to tell anyone to pick this card up. It's so good. But anyways, guys, that's covering it all in today's video. If you guys have any cards that you think I missed, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.